Okay guys, I have an issue. My issue is with gel polish. We come across a lot of problems that can come up, and so you're going to do some explaining today for us.
Some tricks and tips of how to handle situations with what could happen with gel polish.
I love it. A lot of things can happen. Melissa's gonna break it down right now, what to do and what not to do. Let's get started.
So today I'm going to troubleshoot gel polish with you. All the complications you could have and some solutions for them. So let's get started. I'm going to start with prep because prep is a major issue with a lot of gel polish services. A lot of people think that using a buffer is how you prep, okay? Using a buffer isn't how you prep. So I'm going to start from the beginning all the way till the end. So I'm going to push back my client's cuticles on all 10 of her nails. Just simulate this on the little plastic hand. So what I'm going to do is go into a 150 grid file on 5,000 RPMs. I am going to do baby circles around the cuticle area and tickle all the way through. Baby circles on the cuticle area, tickle all the way through with my zones of my drill bit. Baby circles around the cuticle, all the way through. So basically you're prepping as if it's an artificial enhancement, because guess what? Gel polish is artificial enhancement. A lot of people don't think it is because it's just in polish form. It is considered artificial enhancement. So let's go ahead and go through and prep the thumb. So from here, what I'm going to do is swipe off all of her fingers and go into swipe to change the pH balance of her nails. So just like we show you how you would prep an acrylic nail, a hard gel nail, a slick pour nail, any artificial enhancement, you're prepping the same way. Okay, so there's one out of the way. Now, I recommend pretty much to use protein bond with our gel polish system. A lot of people soak off their gel polish. What happens when you soak off gel polish and long term is their nails get brittle, their gel polish starts chipping, and they want to take a break. If you apply it the way I'm showing you, they could wear them year round constantly, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to protein bond the entire nail. Now the polishing techniques and everything are as if it's on a built nail, like acrylic or hard gel nail, or if it's just a gel polish service. They're all the same tricks, okay? So let's do the thumb, go through all 10, and then come back and do your second coat. I always put 2 coats on all my clients. That way I know they're not gonna lift. Okay, if you go through all those steps, I had a question the other day that they said when they put the base coat on, it was moving, or when it came out of the light, there was negative spacing, meaning it was on some spots and it moved away from some other ones. There's a couple things that could cause that. You didn't prep with the 150, and if you did prep with the 150, you probably didn't use swipe to remove the pH balance. Okay, that's really important because that's going to take off any oils or debris. If she actually touches her face or accidentally even scratches herself, it's going to cause the gel to pull away, okay? Protein bond also eliminates that as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do from here is go into my base coat. Now, I like to work from right to left on both hands. So on one hand, I start on one hand and I work all the way through. That's just the way I like to work. So the proper way to put on your base coat, well, let me show you the improper way, okay? Because I see a lot of people doing this as well. So a lot of people will say, I get drip marks down here. Like it looks fine when they come to the light, there's like really thick on the bottom like it dripped. Well, what's happening is you're coming in, you're putting on your base coat. Your fingers dropping down, you're putting on your next base coat. Let's go through all of this, okay? Putting on your next base coat. Oops, there we go. Okay, what does gel do? Gel self-levels, right? So the first nail I did, if you're going through all of these and holding their fingers, letting their fingers drop down, let me show you the first 2 I did. Look real close. It's because they were in this position the longest. By the time you're done with all 5, you're gonna get like a self level and it's gonna go to the tip of the nail. So what happens is you cure it, and when you look at it from the side, this is your thickest spot. Very common mistake. So now what I'm gonna do is show you how you could apply it correctly, okay? So you're gonna come in, wipe off one side, come in through here, go ahead and, while you're applying it, you could anchor it downward, that's fine. When you go on to the next one, keep her hand pretty flat, okay? Now you don't need a lot of base coat. You just need enough to weave into the natural nail and create a barrier from your color you're putting on. And the color you're putting on next, the gel color, will weave into the base very, very well. So what I usually do is I don't do my thumb yet. I have them go under the light from here, but did you see how I went back to them? How I went back to this one and double checked that those weren't dripping anywhere. Look real close. They look really tight and really nice. There's nothing dripping. So what I like to do is have my client go under the light to flash set at this point for at least 30 seconds while I'm polishing the other hand. Now remember, I didn't put it on her thumb yet. It's not a big deal. The reason why I didn't put it on the thumb, if you look at my hand and you're polishing like this, and then when you go to the thumb, what are these doing? They're all gonna drip to the side or go into her sidewalls. Now, I find when it's really cold inside the room, it doesn't tend to do that because gel will move a lot slower, but as summer's here and it's, you know, coming around right around the corner, and the warmer the gel, the more it's gonna run. So for me, just to not have to fix the other nails, it's faster for me to do all 4 go under, go all 4 go under with the other hand, then do thumb, thumb, then go from there, okay? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I finished polishing her other hand, right? Now I'm gonna go into her thumb. These are already cured, they're not going to move, okay? So I'm gonna come in with my base and apply my base coat on my thumb on one of her hands. And then she will flash set this hand for at least 30 seconds, okay? You don't have to put the timer on. All they have to do is go under the light. As long as it takes you to do the other hand, that's long enough under the light because you're not gonna polish all 4 of the fingernails in 30 seconds. It takes about a minute to 45 seconds to polish your base on at least 4 nails. And really what it's doing is it's flash setting it to stop it from moving for you. Every time she goes under the light, she's gonna get more cure time. So you don't have to worry about curing it 1 full minute every time you put a coat on. Not with our line anyway, every line's different. Okay, and what I'm gonna show you now is, I get the question, how do I not flood my cuticles? When I polish it, it's going in my cuticles. I'll show you a little tip how you could put it on for it not to, but I'll show you how most people are applying it where it does go into their cuticles, okay? So I'll do it the wrong way first. So what I'll do is, I'm gonna use Cheeky. It's a cute, fun summer color. Now, I find when the client comes straight to the cuticle, see how it's already going in my cuticle right there? It moves very easy in the cuticles. See how you start to do this and clean it all up? You're always finding yourself having to come back here and clean this. Once you get it on a real person's cuticle, it doesn't clean up as good as Sally just cleaned up right now. It kind of leaves like jagged marks, okay? So let me show you how you actually apply it. Sometimes, let me just give you a little tip before I do this. When the temperature is a little warmer in the room or their hands are really hot, I find sometimes the gel wants to move. And by the time I'm on her 3rd nail, I look at her pinky nail and I notice that she has gel inside her sidewalls, okay? There is nothing that says you cannot go under the light after you polish 1 or 2 at a time. You're gonna go even faster if you stop it from moving than her coming out and you having to file it off and redo it, okay? So remember, the tip is if it's moving, you're gonna monitor, you're gonna go under maybe every 2 or 3rd one, okay? So when it's cooler in the room, I find I could go through all of them sometimes. So you just need to monitor to see if it's moving. And not every day and everybody's the same, okay? Also, people with really deep pockets, really deep sidewalls, it wants to go in there pretty fast. So sometimes I have one client that has wicked sidewalls, like they go really deep in. And her skin comes up higher. I literally do one at a time. I'll polish her pinky, she'll go under. I'll polish her other pinky, she'll go under. So I'm always in motion, and I actually get her done fast because I'm not having to fix anything or repair anything. Okay, so remember those tips. So properly, you're gonna come in, wipe off one side, start on the free edge and work your way up. Now, once I get closer to the cuticle, I kind of put pressure on my bristles, work my way up and bring it down. Okay. Now, my first coat, I try to get as close as I can to the cuticle. Okay. I want to show you one more thing too before I carry on. Let me finish polishing this one and I'll get to it. Okay, we're sitting here looking at it. It's really not moving, right? Sometimes when you find it's not moving, you get through all of them and you go to the thumbnail. And you go to the thumbnail and you're polishing here. Do you see the angle of her hand? What happens is it starts to drip the other way. So I don't suggest, I mean, if you could get away with doing the thumb, great, but usually I'm in the habit of doing all four and then thumbs after. So let's see if this dripped a little. It did start to drip. Look real close right here. See how your drip is heavy right here? So that is a huge question too, we get a lot. Okay, so if you see it start to drip like that, you could come back through. See how I took everything off of my bristles? And we're just troubleshooting here. These are all the things you could do to fix it. It's not cured yet, so you could go ahead and wipe through it again. See, now it looks good again. If you have patchy spots, not a big deal. You're putting more than one coat, okay? So let's come in, start down here, work your way up. Put pressure on your bristles, get really close to your cuticle and try to get as close as you can. If you have a little spot missing, you could get it on your second coat. I find sometimes some people's fingernails are harder to get it really close the first round. I always try to get as close as I can. My fingernail touched that one, still not a big deal. See how I'm monitoring these? I could come in here and do my next one. And it's fairly warm in here. It's like probably 70. That's not really warm. It's kind of neutral. So put a little pressure. Do you see how I'm keeping her nails more flat? Now, if you get a little there, that's not really messing up. So what I'm going to do is wipe off everything off my brush and come in with my first one and make sure that it's all smooth. Okay, so if you look real close, there's some patchy marks, but it's polished very well. So what I'm going to do from here is I am going to flash set this for as long as it takes for me to do the 4 on the other hand. Okay, so she just came out of the light, but I want to go over one more thing. You see how there's little patchy marks? That is very common with like a neon color or like anything cut with white, really. Sometimes that'll happen. Your second coat will cover it. All our gel polishes cover within 1 to 2 coats. Sometimes I put 3. It just depends on the color. Depends on what it's looking like. You could put 3. It cures so tight that you can't even tell. So this is just 1 coat. So now what I'm going to do, now I'm going to go to her thumb. Okay. So I'm going to wipe off one side, come in here, and take care of her thumb. Now I'm going to demo on my thumb real quick before she goes under the light, because sometimes you could do all this and your client comes out of the light, and what happens is, let me move this to the side, is if you look at my hand, they're sitting in the light like this. What happens is right here doesn't have anything for the light to ricochet off. So what I tell my clients is to buckle their thumb. So mainly just bend it like this. So what that's gonna do in the light, it's gonna ricochet off of everything in there and cure it. Sometimes if they don't do that, you may not notice it, but then they call you and say their polish is pilling. What happened is it didn't cure all the way through. And if your first coat, second coat, any coat under the coats you've put, If it's not cured right, it's never going to cure all the way. So it will kind of break away or peel right here. It's because they're holding their hand like this, which is natural. So they need to buckle their thumb like this. And if they buckle their thumb, like I said, it's going to ricochet and cure everything. Okay. So let's put Sally in the light. You know what I'm going to do? When I'm like this, see how Sally's finger will naturally do that because she's not real. She can't really buckle anything to cure it right. So I'm going to cure this for Sally. I'm going to press 30 seconds and I'm going to hold the light over her. That's just for the training hand, okay? Your client could go in there easy with just how I showed you. But there's a solution for everything, right? Okay, so from here, she's flash set her whole hand. Now I'm going into her second coat, okay? You have to repeat all the process I just did right now. All you're doing is adding your second coat so it has better coverage, more vibrant of a color. So you could already see the coverage is amazing now. So come around here. I got a fuzz in my gel polish. Maybe that's a good thing because that happens sometimes with gel polish. Anything floating in the air, take your little nippers. See that come out right here? Take that out. I think there might be one more. There we go. Now let's go over it. Let's go closer to the cuticle area. Now again, if you feel the need for her to go under in 2, she could go under after doing 2. Now sometimes I'm jamming against the clock and I don't want to spend the time constantly monitoring them all. Come in here, wipe it off the skin if you got some on it. I would have her go under and flash that at this point. Why not? You totally could. Just make sure all your coats are even before she goes under. And see, it is wanting to move a little. That's so common. Okay, so let's just flash set her. While I'm flash setting her, I'm working on the other hand. Okay, so there's never downtime. Again, it's better to do this if it's moving, to flash set her, than to try to do them all thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do all 5 at once. Why, when you're gonna have to fix your cuticle work or your sidewall because it's in there? It's harder to clean it up than it is for them to just go under. Let's go in for the second coat here on these 2. So you're always in motion and always flowing. This color's super bright and cute. I really like it. Okay, now I'm gonna look at them everywhere. Now, this would be considered sealing it. You don't have to seal our, there's a little fuzz there. You don't have to seal our gel. I'm doing this mainly for look, okay? Sometimes their nail, you'll notice you, go a little bit more over that because I could see a little spot. No big deal. Sometimes you could see a spot with no color. I was just covering her whole entire nail. Okay, what I'm gonna do from here is flash set this and go do the other 2 on the other hand. So you're always in motion doing something and looking what needs to be covered next, right? Okay, so those look good. What I'm gonna do is come here. So a lot of gel polishes, they tell you to seal the free edge or cap the free edge, right? You don't ever have to do that with ours. The only time you see us doing it is for the look, meaning you see like maybe the nail was a little thicker on the free edge and you want to put some color on it. So go ahead and put your color on it like that. You don't have to do that though, okay? Other companies follow how they say to do it, but with ours you don't. That's what I love about ours so much. Now her thumb, because it's on the training hand, I'm gonna pick it up and help her cure. We usually don't do the thumb on the training hand because it's so twisted to the side, which could be, you could have a client like that as well. What I would do for that is have her go in with her whole hand. I'll show you right now. So if you have a client that their fingers, and this is reality, that may be a little arthritic or curving, right? And say, I really do have a client where her thumb's like this, okay? So what I do is I'm gonna demo what I have her do when she goes under the light. I've done all these nails, right? I have her go in, and let me twist my thumb how hers is. I have her come in like this in the light. So what it's doing is it's still curing, okay? So you have to pay attention to how your fingers, your client's fingernails are shaped. Is one not going to cure right under there? How are they holding their hand? Okay, so she literally has it like this, so I have her kind of curve it a little, because if she goes in like this, it's going to hit. So I always do these 4, and then I have her come in like this, and it still will cure. These are already cured. It doesn't matter if these are sideways. The thumb now needs the curing, okay? That may take like 5 more minutes on her service. No big deal. She's going to feel beautiful when she leaves. So all these little tips and tricks really, really come into play when you're in salon. Okay, so once you're done with this, if you like the way it looks, you could go in with another coat, but I actually like it. It looks beautiful. So what I'm going to do from here is go into my ManiQ top, or your top coat of choice. Now remember, the only top coat you can't use on a gel polish service is stain resistant. If you use stain resistant, they will call you later and say their nails are cracked. It's a hard gel on top of a soft gel that could move. So you're giving it hairline fractures when they're keying or when they're doing anything, peeling off a price tag, which they shouldn't do, but you know they do it. It's okay. And so honestly, you could use any top coat of choice from here. If I wanted to put a stain resistant on top of her ManiQ or her gel polish, I could use gloss. Gloss has more flexibility. It is a hard gel, but it has more flexibility than stain resistant. However, I'm going to stick with the system, and I'm going to use ManiQ Top. ManiQ Top's a beautiful top coat. It shines amazing. I really like it. I apparently used it for glitter, so always have one top coat that you use for glitter and one that you don't. And this happens too, so maybe it's a good thing I did that. You always have one that has that. Okay, so I accidentally used my ManiQ Top that I use with glitter. Not a big deal. I took the glitter out. And I'll carry on from here. So let's come in here. Now your top coat you have to monitor too. This also could drip. So you determine, do I need to go under? There's a little glitter right there. It must have got caught on my brush. No big deal. This is reality in salon, right? It happens. So you decide if you need to go under. I'm looking at these, they look great. Okay, so I'm gonna flash set these 30 seconds while I do the other hand. And let's go ahead and do her thumb. And I'll have my client put her thumb how I told you, remember? Buckle your thumb, buckle your thumb, buckle your thumb. That's what you tell them over and over again. And you tell them why. Because what will happen is it's going to peel and not stay on, and you're going to have to come in for a repair. So I'm just making sure you cure it all the way right. So what I'm going to do from here, it cures in 1 minute. I'm going to clean my station from here. Put everything away while she's under the light, always in motion. Once you're done with your gel polish service, you're going to take ManiQ Cleanser. And you're going to wipe off your sticky residue with ManiQ Cleanser. And hope her nail doesn't fall out. The training hand's hilarious. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you another trick you could do with our gel polish. And I love this trick because sometimes when you use other brands, you cannot file once you're done. It's called breaking the seal. And with ours, the seal doesn't break. You have protein bond and it's a pure soft gel, so it wears amazing. So what I do from here, sometimes, let's just say there's a little spot there. There isn't. Let's just say that the top coat went over just a tad bit and they come out. You could fix it. You come in right here with your file like this and you could file your whole free edge. Sometimes I'll go over all of their nails like this just to make sure there's nothing connected on their skin. Their polish will not peel. It's just going to look perfect when you're done. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll wipe these again. And then I'll go into rose oil. See how shiny they are? They look so nice. They look very well. Nothing's in the cuticle. Nothing's flooded. So that is how you properly apply gel polish. Always rub in and recondition their nails that you took everything out of, and they're done. Hope this helps. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching our nail videos. To check out more, head right over here, and to subscribe to our channel, click right over here.